Welcome, everybody. I am super excited for today's conversation. Today, I'm going to be talking to Laura Williams, the VP of Digital Marketing at Firefly Marketing Solutions. Laura thrives on creating meaningful connections between businesses and their audiences. She loves to emphasize listening, strategic thinking, collaboration, creativity, and of course, she's always bringing a relentless focus on delivering exceptional experiences and lasting value. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to dive into everything with you today. I'm going to start with Firefly. You've been at Firefly about 8 years. Firefly positions itself as a strategic marketing consultancy, not just a services provider. I was wondering what inspired that positioning and how does that show up in your work?
I love that you pointed out strategic because that came from our clients. This goes for new clients and ones we've worked with for decades. It's a relationship, a partnership. So we say strategic because they don't come to us and they're like, hey, we want X, Y, and Z. Here's the steps to do it. It's
Mhm.
always a conversation of what's going on in your business, in your industry. What are your goals? How are you thinking that we should help? Because a lot of the times it's gonna take, some clarifying on both ends. Where are you coming from? What is your goal? What are you gonna find successful? What are your, key indicators of success? What can we do in our capacity as your marketing team, the one that supports your goals and your ambitions? What are we going to do to reach those goals? So we say strategic just because it does take time and listening and clarity. And then we put our expertise with your knowledge. What are you selling? What are you doing? Who are you serving? Where are you serving?
Yeah.
So we
I,
really have always positioned Firefly, at least since I've been around these last 8 years, as an arm of our clients.
mhm.
So y'all are, the professionals in your space, and then we're just there for support and to, help elevate y'all.
Yeah. I love that. People come to me and they're like, I need SEO. And then I'll say, like, oh, well, why? What do you want? What are you trying to achieve? And they tell me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you don't need SEO. You need something else. They're not subject matter experts on this, but they are on their business. You know your business, you're an expert on that. Let us help you shine. We'll make
Yeah.
sure everybody realizes what an expert you are. We're experts at making you look good.
Talking with their sales managers or client-facing people helps us
Mhm.
create that positioning they're trying to elevate.
Right. Got to pull it out of them sometimes. When you're starting a client engagement and you're really trying to figure out, what services they're going to need or what channels maybe they should be on, what's really going to move the needle for them at their stage of growth. How do you and Firefly go about that? Is it just through these clarity conversations?
Yeah, it really does start with conversations. The more pre-planning communication you have on the front end, the easier it is giving them the results, whether on Facebook, Meta ads, a new website, or organic social media, organic SEO, all the things. But it really boils down to what are they trying to do and what's going to make them feel successful. More phone calls, emails, form submissions. Depending on the goals, we work on different facets. Working with home services,
Mhm.
plumbing or AC, it's a lot of locale stuff. So we're looking at Google Business, Bing, or Yelp. And that might be a really big difference from, this corporation that has an international standing. We're more so focusing on the actual brand integrity, which might mean more organic SEO or topical information.
Yep.
So it just depends. It depends on what space they're in, who their audience is, and what their locale is.
Yeah, yeah, really getting clear on what are you trying to achieve with this. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I do think, at least I know I see it on my end where clients come in and they're just like, we need more exposure. I had one guy tell me, I just want to be everywhere like Coca-Cola. You're a commercial truck rental agency. That's not going to happen.
Try to give a client what they want sometimes. You end up spending so much money unnecessarily because you're throwing money at the wall. In that example, do you want to be like Coca-Cola and be everywhere? You're going to spend so much money, and I don't think it's going to garner the ROI you're looking for.
Once they realize that, some clients are new to marketing, trying to figure it out. Once they realize they're like, oh, Coca-Cola spends $1 billion on this. I get it. When you're looking to fit clients with certain services, is there anything specific you look for? You want to make sure you can get results. How do you go about fitting that square peg client into the round hole of results?
I work with both ends of the spectrum. Either a client has a marketing team or a marketing person in-house. I love being their partner. They're driving the vision and I'm helping them get to the goal. They come to me, don't have marketing. They might have a landing page, a 10-year-old website. It is looking at what's realistic. So if a client comes to me and is like, we need social media, it needs to be organic, have X, Y, and Z, and spend $5 on branding on Meta ads. It's like, okay, you want these pieces, but you don't have a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine, but that does mean I'm building out a situation where like I'm there taking photos, talking to your team. I need to know about your sales, how they're approaching clientele and what's your audience look like, what kind of lingo. We're in South Louisiana. We have our own little language. Everyone's a friend. It's having to translate that. If a client comes to me and they want X, Y, and Z, we need to figure out if it's realistic and how can we make it realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that answers your question.
100%. It sounds like you're touching a little bit on there. I noticed that you guys are big HubSpot partners. HubSpot talks about the alignment between marketing and sales. Sales can generate a lead, get it there, and then sales doesn't know what
Oh,
marketing's doing. Marketing's like, here's a good lead. Sales didn't know. So they're like, no, it's not. There's a misalignment a lot of the time. And it seems like you
yeah.
guys are trying to work. I've heard a couple of people say the marketing has become 80% of what sales used to do.
And they don't speak to each other. Even in educational institutions, it's
Mhm.
still siloed. So it's like you have your marketing, you have your sales, you have your communication, but in reality, in a job, it all works together to feel like a well-oiled machine. A client last week, and he said it perfectly. He was like, I totally understand that y'all are here to help facilitate the leads. It's our job to close. Marketing and sales have to work together. I need to know what you're selling, who you're selling to, so I can find those people and bring them to you. Our job is to make sales easier.
There is misalignment.
I'm not trying to be a salesperson for another organization, I promise. I
Yeah.
want to make y'all's job easier, but this is where I'm at.
Yep, 100%. You can name names if you want to, or you don't have to. But like, what are some recent projects where, some of these marketing services really did unlock meaningful business growth, right? Really did turn into some of those sales that sales team is looking for.
Yeah, I think there's two different buckets, actually three. We do a lot of work with lawyers and attorneys and those agencies. It is fascinating to see marketing efforts translate into cases signed for the month. We work closely with a couple in Louisiana. They're not direct competitors, but we have good relationships. They send over their number of cases that they've opened in the last month, and then they're so good about asking where they found them from. So like they're
Mhm.
like, "Hey, like did you see our ad or a phone call or what have you?"
Yeah.
So it's fun to see the efforts influencing the cases they're opening. It's similar with home services too. Pool builders, plumbers, AC, interior designers. They're super impactful because a lot are small to mid-sized businesses. Opening a couple cases in a law firm in Louisiana it's a big deal because that does bring in a good sum of money. It keeps a bunch of people employed and it's meaningful work. That's what keeps you going, even though, it's a lot of work and it's 24 hours now that everything is so digital. So
Oh, yeah.
it makes you feel like you're winning.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's important for people to feel like they're doing meaningful work. You concentrated a lot on lead gen campaigns, right? Whether it be home
Yeah.
services, a law firm, and that's a lot of what I do too. I couldn't agree more. When you see a business growing because of
Yeah.
the work you're doing, and it like that does have a real impact. It feels good to be a part of that.
We got on a kick. I don't know if y'all do LinkedIn advertising. You can
Okay.
see the back end and track who comes to you. We were doing work with a manufacturing oil and gas aerospace company.
Okay.
They were a good partner because they were growing exponentially, hitting all three markets. It was fun because their sales team had a hit list of clients that they wanted to work with. And so because they were able to give us those names of the companies or maybe the names of the business developer that they just wanted to be in touch with, we were able to really drill down on the paid ad approach. It was so fun to watch them check off like, oh, those people did eventually come and build a relationship with us and they're our client now.
Right. Yeah.
Like that was incredible. And that was such a big deal because they're also a Louisiana-based company, but they're going places. It's exciting to see
Yeah.
that happen in real life.
From they don't know about the company to awareness and
Yeah.
consideration, going through the whole journey. That's pretty cool to see from the inside.
And I will say it takes a lot of patience and trust. Thank God, I like all our clients, we've built a good rapport with them. When I say this is not going to be an overnight win, it is going to take a couple months, sometimes longer. The trust is there though. And so when you do kind of trust that process and watch them go through that whole funnel you just talked about, it is super exciting for them to see it worked and
Yeah.
then us for us to be like, thank you. This is why we're doing it.
This
This
is
is incredible.
Love that. When you're like, this is what I got into this for. That's a great client. Is there anything specific you're looking at in the next few months, an initiative Firefly has, or a tool, something that you guys are using that you think people should be paying attention to?
A couple different things. One thing that's not super new, but I really think it's important and I think it's going to continue to grow in importance is the ADA compliance, WCAG compliance.
Okay.
Anything that makes your website easier for anyone to conceptualize
Mhm.
is super important. We have partnerships with companies to utilize their widgets because the rules of website building change frequently. We build as close to compliance as possible, but in order to have the 100%, stamp of approval, we do go ahead and really, especially for public facing entities, like go ahead and promote, like, let's make sure we're compliant. Let's put this little insurance policy helpful for people who might be visually or audibly impaired. I think that's a big deal. Search engines and the, what is it? LLM learning machines.
Yeah, yeah, the LLMs,
Yeah.
large language models. Yeah,
Yeah, they're really cracking down. And so
yeah,
they're not pushing out non-compliant websites. Let's get ahead of that curve. The elephant in the room is AI. I love AI and I don't think it's going anywhere, just like I don't think the internet is going
that's
anywhere.
right. Yeah.
So you have to learn to work with it. We're looking more into the generative engine, building more topical pieces. So things like ChatGPT consult your publications for feedback. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah.
It's another leg of SEO,
Mhm.
but I'm super thrilled to see how this is going to roll out. And especially when we're talking about ads, because it's only a matter of time before they start, opening ChatGPT up to paid advertising.
Yeah.
And what's that going to look like? It's about building content on your website, on Google Business Profile, on, you know, any venue you're looking at building online. It's making sure that that content makes sense, has a purpose, is topical, timely, and refreshing anything that's not. So we want to be number one, SEO friendly, but GEO friendly whenever that starts to roll out. That's exciting.
Yeah, you bring up a good point with compliance. That's been a factor for a long time. A big part of ADA compliance is having good alt image tags, right? Companies weren't paying attention to them until now they're like, oh, I need to make sure I'm compliant. It's changed the game on how people look at those things.
Even on LinkedIn, every time I post a picture, it's like, oh, what's the alt text? It's important, but I am just as bad as any other client because I'm like, do I really have to fill
Yeah, it's
out?
something we just rush through for sure.
But it is important. And if you're not doing it, you're going to get flagged.
You brought up something really interesting. I don't know if this is intuitive or if you've heard anything. Chat going to paid advertising. Have they spoken about this, or is this just a guess or intuition?
I did not make that idea up. I don't. I'm on LinkedIn a lot and I'm
Yeah,
always reading the things that come into my inbox. I don't have a reference for you. I heard about that weeks ago.
it's out
Don't
there. I just have to be more
out there.
proactive and take a look.
It makes total sense. I didn't think about it. I
Yeah,
didn't think that we'd ever be seeing ads on, ChatGPT, but it makes sense that we
it does.
will.
Yeah,
And that's not to say that chat has came out and said that or, is Sam Altman, is he the
yeah,
creator?
yeah. The CEO.
Yeah, I don't know if it came from him or somewhere else, but I was like, oh, good to know that I need to be preparing myself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is interesting because I mean, I can see them doing it on their free model.
Nice.
Makes me wonder if it's going to be $20 a month, better access and speed.
Mhm.
You might be paying to avoid advertising in the future. That makes sense.
Like YouTube and so on.
Yeah, so much money on this stuff, even with just Google ads. Google kind of presents themselves as, oh, we've got self-driving cars and free email. And I mean, all of that, 98% of their revenue is coming from the clicks that we do on their ads. It's
Insane. Your client will come to me and they're like, we're thinking about Google ads. There are 4 or 5 different avenues. Do we
hmm,
want local map pack ads? Do
right.
we want search ads? You're paying Google, but
Yep. Yeah.
they give you choices.
There's lots of different ways to advertise with Google these days. That
Yeah.
acquisition of YouTube is going to be huge and only get bigger for them.
Yeah.
If somebody listening, whether a business owner or in marketing, but they're feeling stuck or scattered, what's one piece of advice to help them gain momentum again?
It's not rocket science, but it takes some time. It takes a lot of clarity. So I always, always, always come down to the basics: who, what, when, where, why. If you can answer those about your business, you can get somewhere. It starts with knowing your business and being able to talk about it with someone else, whether it be email or in person or audio or whatever.
Hmm.
But so long as you have a grasp on what you're doing and your central goal is, whether it's more calls, more money at the end of the day, it's just about how you communicate that. From there, you can build the conversation of like, okay, how do we go about
Yep.
that? And really, if you're not the guy to build the website, which if you're running a business, you probably don't have the time to sit there and build a website or make sure that John is reposting the LinkedIn post, praises him for 30 years on the job. You need to
Yeah.
be doing other stuff, getting with people you trust that want to hear what y'all have going on. That's your first steps.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Come back to the fundamentals. There's so many new tools out there. There's so many new ideas and oh, we could do this way. And you can get lost in it. Just coming back to those fundamentals and being like, who am I trying to talk to? I think that makes a ton of sense. That's great advice.
It's so overwhelming. For us, we have Adobe Suite, Canva, Adobe XD, all of these
Mhm.
different tools. You get lost, but you don't have to do it all at one time. My favorite way to work through projects and build long-term relationships with clients is when they start asking, I want to do all these things, but what comes first? Let's build a roadmap, see what makes sense. So we're looking at this strategically,
Yeah,
right? It comes full circle, building your plan and executing.
love it. Don't get overwhelmed. One step at a time.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Laura, where can people find you? What social media do you want to send them to? Website, anything at all?
I have been a lot more active on LinkedIn. And of course, Firefly, we're in the middle of a rebrand on our website. I'm super pumped about that. We don't have a date quite yet, but we are rolling into final design concepting. So stay tuned for
Fantastic.
that.
Very nice. I love it. I'll include links to your LinkedIn and Firefly in the show notes. Laura, thank you for sharing your time and expertise. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.